Leblanc. You know, Leblanc. Former mid lane dominator, insane poker player, and Faker's first love, Leblanc.
He'll get away, Wolf coming in. Can he make something happen? Oh, really nice use of the spell piece edge. Yeah, it's a quadra kill for Faker. And the frost by Wolf there too. Just yet another great play by him. He got it! How in the world did he get that pentakill?
Since those days long gone, Leblanc has fallen to a former shell of herself in the mid lane, and while she still sees mass popularity, she's been struggling to get above a 50% win rate in any role until recent back-to-back buffs. While the mass majority of individuals still play Leblanc where she was intended, just like every champion, if you start struggling in your main lane, supports will start to incorporate you in theirs. Our LeBlanc player today is known as BlackFiredragon6, and while his name sounds like someone you'd see in Modern Warfare 2 on Xbox Live, he is the best LeBlanc support player in the world. Little is known about BlackFiredragon. It seems like many players, he started playing on this account as a smurf. He's only level 56, so that he could help reset his MMR and climb faster. Unlike my Tom Kench video, I do not suspect that he has purchased the account, as throughout the whole season of Season 11, he has been playing champions in the support role. He started Season 11 playing more standard support champions like Janna, Brand, and Zed. Am I reading that right? Yeah. The man played an uncomfortable amount of support Zed, and while I can try to knock it, he made his way all the way into high gold and low plat doing so. I'll keep an eye on this for future videos. Alongside his Zed support, he also dabbled in many Shaco support games, loving the feeling of outplaying and even trolling enemies with him. But after a while, Zed support wasn't cutting it anymore in the higher tiers, and Shaco support, as you may know, received nerfs, so he needed to find a champion that fit both of their roles in one. Enter LeBlanc. From low diamond on, he almost exclusively played LeBlanc support, finding mass success on the champion and netting 122 games on her with a 65% win rate, pushing him all the way into master tier very, very recently, like literally a few hours ago, where he's still climbing to this day. If you think about support LeBlanc, she has some glaring issues. First of all, she's just a straight up caster, which means she really has no support ability to heal or shield her ally in lane. LeBlanc is a burst champion, and as such, needs a good amount of money for her to hit her crucial power spikes, something you won't be getting in the support role. Against current meta hook and tank supports, if you make one misstep in lane, you're basically dead. And finally, and most importantly, if you want to have a three-way with her, she basically has to be near death. But even with all of these potential problems, BlackFiredragon has found a way to make it work. At level 1, BlackFiredragon gets his E or Ethereal Chains ability. Regardless if him and his team decide to invade or he goes straight to lane, having E first allows him and his AD carry to fight even at level 1. Additionally, since BlackFiredragon brings Electrocute as his keystone, this means that if the enemy is snared and he lands 2 auto attacks, he will proc Electrocute, doing some really decent damage level 1. Level 2, he'll level up his W or Distortion ability, making it even easier for him to land his Ethereal Chains and, once again, proc his Electrocute. He often likes to push for level 2 advantage in every game, and even if the enemies are standing back and expecting this, the distance on his Distortion and Chains will still allow him to get a favorable trade before the opponents can hit level 2. Hitting his W on an enemy champion is typically a bonus in the early game. Most of the time, he's using it to just get in range for his E or to bait out his CC ability, or both. At level 3, he levels up his Q or Sigil of Malice for more damage potential. Keep in mind that his Q can proc on either half of his chains, so if he hits an E before landing his Q, he tries his best to stay in range so that the second half of it triggers his Sigil. Also note that the second half of his chains do more damage than the first half, so he's constantly balancing risk and reward when he lands it at level 3 or earlier. Just like mid LeBlanc, BlackFiredragon then proceeds to max his W. Why BCawk, you may be asking? W has a slew of reasons why it's best to max first. The cooldown scales with level, unlike LeBlanc's Q, and you need this ability to read position, land your E, and proc Q. It enables you to truly be LeBlanc, hopping around everywhere, and while you think maxing Q may enable you to do more damage, Distortion by itself, or with a low-level Sigil, is a nuke ability on its own right. Plus, spamming Q, you would be out of mana much faster. He keeps this cycle up until he hits level 6 when he levels his ultimate. As you know, Leblanc can use her ultimate to copy any of her abilities to a greater efficacy. Even though he's not maxing Q, the ultimate scaling is separate from the base level ability, so he can still completely nuke someone if he's in range. The WR combo is regularly saved for quicker bursts, big AoE damage, or gap closing on someone that's far away. The ER combo is used to lock someone up for as long as possible. If he hits both of his chains, that means that the enemy will be rooted for a total of 3 seconds. That's almost as long as a long-range Ash Arrow or a Jarvan Cataclysm. Shout out to the Jarvan support video. We're in mid-game analysis now, but I want to stress that BlackFiredragon's LeBlanc is probably the most roaming I've seen outside maybe analyzing some Bard videos, whether it's early game or mid-game. The guy is roaming all the time. Take it back to base, roam. Minions push to turret in bot, roam. Jungle steps 1 foot into the enemy's jungle, roam. It's effective because LeBlanc with Electrocute can really put out some surprising damage early game, and this is often how he gets so far ahead and so much money in his games. In the mid game, he's still looking for picks, playing around vision in the jungle and brushes to completely annihilate any poor squishy that gets too close. His previous roams and lane dominance has normally gotten him far enough ahead to where he is just as much of a threat as a mid LeBlanc would be. Again, for full-on nuking someone, he prefers to use his QR ability combo as it's his most damage potential. When teamfighting as LeBlanc, BlackFiredragon can serve one of 2 purposes. The first purpose may seem a bit obvious: completely destroy someone. BlackFiredragon finds the most valuable target that he can blow up and proceeds to do so. Positioning also comes into play heavily here, so if the enemy team is front to backing, he'll nuke the closest available person. If he's able to get a flank off on the enemy team or play around vision, he'll instead try to nuke the backline, either wrecking the enemy AD carry or mid lane depending on their threat level and proximity to him. Much less often, or when behind, BlackFiredragon may instead function as a peel or CC support, using his ER combo to slow enemies down from reaching his backline or expose a high mobility champion with his 3 seconds of snare. In both situations, he's fragile as all hell, so he plays carefully, stays further back to avoid enemies killing him before he or his team has the chance to do the same to them. Some quick LeBlanc tips and tricks I picked up while watching BlackFiredragon. Just like Fiddlestick support, vision control is super important on LeBlanc, and that's why even at level 1, BlackFiredragon is picking up a sweeper so that he has the ability to surprise his enemies. He's constantly clearing wards and warding deep into the enemy jungle to allow him to catch enemies off guard with his insane burst damage. He even has some unique ways he can deep ward by using his distortion. LeBlanc's passive feels like an afterthought for a lot of players, but it can regularly save your skin. Sometimes, the most optimal play when it spawns is to walk in a direction your opponent wouldn't expect you to, causing them to chase the mirror image instead of you, and potentially turning into a kill, or at least a really big juke. And lastly, your E or chains is just good CC. We talked about the value of doubling it with your ult, but just E alone can net some pretty easy kills if you have your jungler or other teammates nearby. For his build, he starts every game with a Spell Thief's Edge and an Oracle Lens. From there, he'll start to rush his Mythic, prioritizing Hextech Alternator first for more burst, and buying a Dark Seal if he's not behind. He'll then build his level 2 boots, using magical footwear in his runes, and building Spell Pen boots every game. He then finishes his Night Harvester, and next looks to the enemy team for what his third item should be. If they're healing heavy, he'll build an Oblivion Orb. Burst heavy, a Zhonya's Hourglass, or completely dominating, he'll finish up his Magi's. If he's doing well but has no stacks, he might build a Rabadon's Death Cap. His fifth item is almost always a Void Staff for more burst, or one of the previous items we just talked about based on the enemy team comp if necessary. If the game goes long or he needs some more oomph in his build, he'll build an Elixir of Sorcery. And for his sixth item, and throughout the whole game as a good support does, he's buying control wards to win the vision game. For his runes, he takes Electrocute for heavier burst damage, Sudden Impact for more pen when he uses W, Eyeball Collection for more AP after every takedown, and Ravenous Hunter for some Omnivamp with every takedown as well. He brings an inspiration secondary page with magical footwear to save some cash, and biscuit delivery for more sustain in lane. For his flex runes, he brings 2 adaptive force and either armor or magic resist depending on his lane opponents. Thanks guys for checking out my Leblanc support video. I hope y'all would start trying this out in your own games. It's of course a wet dream just 100-0 somebody as a support champion, so I know I'll be checking it out. Do me a favor and help me out. You know what I'm gonna say. If you could leave a like on the video or subscribe, it helps me get my videos in front of you in the future, and I'd love to see you guys more in the comment section below. Also, as a side note, I am streaming on Twitch every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It's as much as I really can do right now. As I'm making these videos, I am still have a full-time job, so I would love to see you guys there as well. All my links are in the description below. And if you have any questions or concerns, you know you can hit up that comment section as well. That's really it for today, y'all. I hope you guys have a great day or night or whatever it is for you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.